Good evening, Professor. Tonight we have Libby, her husband James, the young one Emily, who is still sleeping from my last speech, my beautiful wife Amanda, my two young men Eli and Thomas, and Uncle Frank. Good evening. I'm Thomas Preston. Before we get started, and I'd like for you to just take the time to imagine yourself as an owner of a rental property. You're the brand new owner of this rental property that you have built with your own hands, with your blood, sweat, and tears, and you've had renters in it for the last 6 months who have just recently moved out. Upon walking up to the door after they had moved out for your final inspection, as you walk into the door, you find that the house is a disaster. The carpet's torn, there's holes in the sheetrock everywhere, the bathroom doesn't look like it's been cleaned for weeks, the bedroom's a mess, and every bit of pride that you had at one point has now been left out at the front door. I can't help but think, in my own personal opinion, that God thinks the same way about how we're treating His creation here on earth that He created with His own two hands. As a lifelong resident of Westmoreland County, one of the 5 counties of the Northern Neck, and I'm an avid waterman. It's part of our history here. It's what we do. I have witnessed firsthand the decline of fish and crabs and other shellfish of the local tributaries to Chesapeake Bay. As a child of God, I am too a witness of the carelessness of humankind. Psalms 24:1 says, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it." The Chesapeake Bay is suffering as a result of pollution, and it is our responsibility as recipients of God's gifts to do what we can do to protect it. Now, the bay and its tributaries are constantly being polluted daily throughout this day and time. Factors and things that contribute to the pollution of the bay are residential pesticides, is one of the biggest, fertilizers, and cleaning supplies. And so the Chesapeake Bay is home to some of the most amazing creatures, and it performs many important roles within our ecosystem. So according to ChesapeakeBay.net, the Chesapeake's land-to-water ratio is the largest of any coastal waterway in the world, or body of water. And so you say, what does Chesapeake mean? Chesapeake means, in the Native American language, Great Shellfish Bay. And the route that we're going down right now, it looks like we might have to end up changing that name to remove the Chesapeake, because once a Great Shellfish Bay no longer exists. So, in addition to the ChesapeakeBay.net states, the bay supports more than 2,700 species of plants and animals. That's tremendous. A lot of things are built right there in that bay. A lot of things start right there, from the tiniest organism to some of the largest fish and different types of birds. So, the factors contributing to the pollution and the increasing are increasing, as I stated earlier, about the pesticides, some of the home pesticides. And according to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation.org, the bay has lost 90% of all its oysters. 80% of all the grasses, the natural reed grasses that grow in the marshes, and nearly 50% of all the forest buffers that were once there, naturally given to all of us by God. So, given the vast expense of the bay and the greater global impact of the ecosystem it supports, the pollution of the bay is far-reaching and will have a long-lasting global impact. Look, it's simple like this. Here's a true story. Robert E. Lee, in his daytime, he ate crabs that the body of the crab would fill the dinner plate, as you see here. The crabs that we're catching today aren't much bigger than this toy that belongs to my children here. Big difference. Big difference when you look at it like this. So without our personal investment into improving the pollution in the Chesapeake Bay and its surrounding watershed, there will be a global effects that will affect the way of life for all of us. Now, the www.chesapeakebay.net again recommends using non-toxic pesticides or chemical-free cleaning and personal care products. It's so common for somebody during spring cleaning to have a bucket of bleach and some water and doing some spring cleaning outside, maybe scrubbing your deck, all right, and that bleach is all over your deck, and then you take your water hose and you rinse it off. And what you've now created is runoff that is eventually here in my local area going to reach the Monroe Bay, that feeds the Potomac River, that then feeds the Chesapeake Bay. So sustainablegardening.com states that certain types of fertilizer, especially if applied in the spring, will run off into the waterways like the Chesapeake Bay. Now, every Scotch bag of fertilizer is going to advertise, put it down in the spring, put it down in April. Well, April showers bring May flowers, and guess what happens then? That runoff is going, the nitrogen and all the other nasty chemicals that are in that fertilizer, give you that green, beautiful yard, is going in the ditch and going on right on down to the Monroe Bay right here locally. So the Chesapeake Bay is beautiful and expansive body of water that makes up global contributions. It provides many resources from the smallest of organisms to the delicious seafood and tons of recreational opportunities that we all enjoy. Many of the factors that contribute to the pollution of the Chesapeake Bay are avoidable. They're easy. Fertilize during the fall versus the spring. Simple things like that. There are ways that you can help. It is our responsibility to respect what the world God created for us and the many creatures that occupy this beautiful earth with us. We have to demonstrate this respect through our actions, our decreasing pollution in every way possible. It's best summed up in a poem that was written by my late mother-in-law, Jetta Denson Pugh. The tree stood tall 100 years, and mighty did it grow. The beauty of the lives we have is one we all should know. We pollute our waters and our streams so freely, you and me. The beauty of the lives we have, our children may not see. My children, right here, they love the water. As you can see right here, we're on the beach taking a family portrait. I want it to be there for when they get to be my age and they're able to carry on the tradition of fishing and crabbing and that type of thing. Let's do our job here, and please help us preserve what God's created for us to enjoy. Good evening.